Today we're joined by Amy Woodall, absolute rock star, Sandler Trainer from Indianapolis, Indiana. Amy, I learn so much every time I speak with you, all of your trainings, all your videos, but I'm sure that's probably pretty mutual, right? What is probably like the biggest lesson you've learned from me?
Yeah. Huh.
Okay, we're going to cut that part. So, Amy, these are pretty tough times for some people, and I know people are handling it differently. You know, from your perspective, what are some of the behaviors, maybe attitudes, techniques, and even observations that you're making with your clients and your prospects, and even some people in your world?
I think it's interesting to observe. You use the word observation, which is that is something I'm personally doing, like taking a step back and being an observer rather than just, getting entangled in the madness that we're experiencing. And, I did a talk at our client summit that was called Own Your 50. And really what Own Your 50 means is there is 100% of the problem or challenge. Like if we're viewing it, then we're at least half of the problem or half of the solution. So the way I'm looking at things now is really, okay, what does ownership look like? Yes, this is the situation, but how am I going to choose to respond to it, to think about it, to dance with it?
Yeah, so I love that, and I think that it's difficult sometimes depending on the situation and almost feeling what you have control over and what you don't. And right now, I think a lot of people don't feel like they have a lot of control over the world around them. So, is there like a particular maybe behavior or practice that you may recommend for people to help them cope with that?
Yeah, so I think mindfulness is a buzzword that many of us have heard. What mindfulness means to me is learning how to quiet the madness, meaning, so I personally meditate 2 times a day, something I learned a couple of years ago. My number one habit that if somebody offered me $1 million to never meditate again, I would not take it. That is how committed I am to the effectiveness and my overall happiness and success. And so if we can learn how to just sit in the moment and breathe, then we can start to shift our brain from fight or flight mode. When we're in this, kind of everything's uncertain and we don't know what's happening, we're in fight or flight mode. But if we can help just breathe and look at this from, and look at it as an observation rather than a becoming, we can help switch our mindset into prefrontal cortex, which we make much better decisions from this part of the brain than we do from this part of the brain.
Yeah. So, and and I'm probably going to butcher the quote, but there's a great quote that says something along the lines of most of the problems in the world come from man's inability to sit quietly in a room.
I fully believe that
Yeah.
to be true.
Yeah. And I suppose mindfulness or meditation is a technique, but from a technique perspective, what would you suggest to people who maybe have a hard time kind of quieting the monkey mind, so to speak?
Yeah. So if one myth I want to dispel, and then I'll share a technique that is really easy that you guys could utilize, is there is this misinformation that meditation or mindfulness is clearing the mind, which is so false because thinking is as involuntary as your heart beating is. Like it happens. And so if we sit down with the goal to clear our mind, we're all going to fail at meditating. It's not going to happen. So get that out of your head. Think of it like taking your brain to the gym. It's a lot like exercising your consciousness muscle. And it's not easy at first. And sometimes it feels pretty boring, but over time you develop a strength and the ability to then catch your thoughts or see your thoughts faster. So a very simple technique, especially now, we have so much together time. My kids are home. My husband's home. Like we're all around. There's stuff that's happening. So if you need a moment just to chill, a really good exercise is 2 breaths in, 4 breaths out. So, or it could be three breaths in, 6 breaths out. But what it is you breathe in and breathe out for twice as long. So it's essentially a 2x breath. But doing that can help de-escalate the nervous system and the stress response that we have.
I think you just actually clarified for me why I was a failed meditator. And I mean, and I do other things. I've been doing the sensory deprivation, like float tank stuff. I mean, can't do it now, but that was kind of my way around it. But the interesting thing is, I'm a pretty competitive guy. And so I would try to relax, which is like a paradox. Try to clear your mind. As soon as you do that, you can't. And then I get like negative self-talk because I'm failing at meditation, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I start off, I'm going to be the best meditator. I'm going to just crush this meditation game. People are like, man, Nema, you just meditated so well. And then it doesn't work. Then I get down on myself and it becomes like a feedback loop. And then I just say, you know what, meditation's dumb. I'm going to go do something else. So I think now you actually helped me be able to maybe refocus, or maybe not worry about mind clarity and worry more about focus when it comes to mindfulness and meditation. So I love that.
Good. My meditation teacher is a woman named Emily Fletcher. She's out of New York. That's how I learned how to meditate. And her saying is, you don't meditate to be good at meditation. You meditate to be good at life.
I think that's brilliant. And there was someone who gave a talk probably about a year ago, and he said something I thought was really interesting. He said, I meditate at least once a day. Unless I'm extremely busy, then I meditate twice. And it was a really good point, because it's effectively a couple things. One is we will make time for the things that are important. And it's saying, oh, I don't have time for that. I can't build it in my routine. And if it's important enough and we can have it as part of our behavior, then no matter how busy we are, how busy we think we are, I think we will make time for those things. And I think that's for me what I'm really learning from you in this conversation is really making time for things. I think anyone can meditate once or journal once. It's the series of consistency in a myriad of ways that actually leads not only to mental growth, but business growth. So I love it.
Amen to that. If we could only go to the gym and do 2 sit-ups and get 6 packs, wouldn't that be easier? But that's not how this works.
By the way, just throwing it out there. I mean, you said amen. Did you know that's Nema backwards?
Oh, maybe I did finally learn one thing from you, Nema.
All right. Well, you know what, Amy, you're amazing. Sandler Worldwide Shout Outs. We're going to be reaching out, speaking with Sandler trainers from all over the world, getting their best practices, their behaviors, their attitudes, their techniques. So I hope you learned something from this session with Amy. Amy, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Get out there and have a great day.